your girl Tania, aka the Cool Auntie, and this is the Cool Auntie podcast. Y'all, I'm excited. I'm joined by, honestly, all the ish we done went through to get on the screen, dog. I feel like we basically family. At this point, we know each other. Please help me. Y'all give a warm welcome to my homies, Joe and Brihem. Say what up.
What's good, everybody? How y'all doing?
They gonna be real shy, but don't y'all worry. Y'all know how I do. I'm gonna crack them open real soon. I'm excited. And so they don't know this, but I want to make sure that we've just lost so many great people this past year. I think it's so important to give people their flowers while they can smell them, right? And so for these two men, I kind of hinted at it a little bit, but I want them to understand that when you've seen what I've seen in life, you don't respect. And respect doesn't come easy for me. Like, for me to really respect, I was telling them, like, I have a really strong moral code. I was raised by two parents who have really strong moral codes and who emphasize character. And so for me, I don't like to associate myself with people who have poor character, but also for me, respect comes from the code that you live by. And these two men, I told them both, I'm low-key a creep online. Like, I be seeing people, but they don't be seeing me see them, but I be seeing them. And so these two guys were guys who, before I even got to know them, I watched them, I observed them, and I truly, truly respect what they do, not only in the craft, but who they are as men and how they carry themselves. And I think we live in today where when it comes to culture, we throw all these words like boss and hustle and success. We throw all these buzzwords out there. I think sometimes we confuse the definitions of them and we confuse the meanings. And so I'm looking forward to getting to chat with these guys about what they mean, because I feel like from just watching them and watching how they move and how they engage with their teams, they're men who I feel comfortable hearing from, right? And so I'm super excited to have them. So thank y'all for being good examples for me. I was kind of telling them too, I be having like fake friends online, like people who I don't really know, but I decide in my head they my friend because I said so and because I follow them. So they didn't even know it, but they were my besties before I got to know them. So thank y'all for being friends in real life. Are y'all excited?
Yeah, sure, thank you for having us. Definitely. Thank you for having me.
I love it. And so without me really saying too much about y'all, I think it's important that I can't define you, but you define yourself. And so if I had to ask the question that everybody hates, right? The question that makes people fuck up interviews, right? Who are you, man? Like, who are you for the people? Who are you?
Joe? Me? Yeah, okay. For me, I want to say, like, I'm a dot connector for a lot of people. I tend to connect the dots for a lot of my friends because of the circles that I know. I might know somebody that does photography that does it for a good price. So I know somebody that who makes drinks and will bartend for free. So I feel like I connect the dots with a lot of my friends and a lot of the connections that I have to reach them to get to their goal as well. So that's where I feel like I connect the dots to help others get their goal.
I love that. And that's both personally and professionally.
Yes. I love that. Personal too, yes. I know somebody with a pickup truck, so you moving, I got you.
Terry, okay, listen. Good to know. Do they come to Philly?
I mean, if you get him a Philly cheesesteak, he'll do it for you.
Period. Say less. I love that. All right, Brihem, who are you?
Yeah. So I guess like the best way to put it is, I guess I'm the spider web. Like, I ain't gonna say connect the dots because Joe already beat me to it, but yeah, I'm a spider web. My network is a diverse group of everything, to be honest. You need ball players, you need models. Obviously, I'm a photographer. So I feel like that's the biggest word to put on it. This is spider web.
I love that. And it's so crazy because I have to be fully transparent in that. Like, I'm stepping into, I think, well, two things. I think first, the pandemic really forced us to look at digital media and the virtual space a lot more. And so I am very new. I always tell people I'm very new in like this creative world. And the more I get into it, right, the more I follow people like you, I have a newfound respect for the people who do it because it's a lot that's involved in this. Like these things like entrepreneurship and networks and being brands and like it ain't no joke. And so and y'all, I'm learning through trial and error myself. So when I see people who are doing it well, and not only do you do it well, but to your point, your character follows. Like the fact that I asked you what you do and who you are, and you didn't tell me what you did, but instead you told me who you are to people. And that, again, it speaks to who y'all are. And so I guess in thinking about you as a creative and about you being an entrepreneur and even y'all becoming like dots and webs, tell me more about your journey. I guess it's a question for both of you, whoever wants to go first, more about your journey of getting here and discovering that was who you are.
I'll go first on this one. The journey is kind of different for me, to be honest. Like, I didn't always know I was creative, but like, I was born left-handed. My mom's switching to right-handed. You know, they say everybody that's left-handed is a creative, but I always
Can you say that out loud, please, for my mom to hear? Say it again.
But left-handed people are super creative. That's a fact.
You hear that, Mom? We're gonna make it, Mom. We making it.
I'm right-handed now too, though. I'm right-handed now too.
Okay.
But
basic.
I played basketball. That was all I cared about for a long time. The camera thing kind of fell into my hand. I have a bunch of friends that like do video work, do photo work. My brother right now, like he's a videographer. He had never told nobody about it. But then like one day, my friend asked me to do a photo shoot for her. And I kind of fell in love with it. And then I'm big on like when people tell you can't do something, you have to do it. And I remember her saying like, y'all fake photographers make it hard for us real photographers. And now she's one of my clients every month. So, that's how I look at it, to be honest.
That's crazy. And I even love how you said it kind of fell in your hands. We're going to come back to that. I think, we're going to come back. I'm going to put a pin in that. Go ahead, Joe. Joe, you smiling like you ready. Go ahead, Joe.
It's a good, it's hearing story. Like hearing his story is like, it's totally different. Like I'll say like for mine, I didn't really think the entrepreneurship started until like, for me, like 2017, but I would say it started back in 2010 because I used to throw events back here in New York before I moved to go to college. And the reason why I threw events was to have like a safe space for like my friends could like party, because in New York, it was gangs. Every time there was a party, a gang would come through or somebody would be a fight breakout. Girls don't feel comfortable around these type of guys. So like I made sure like the parties I had, I made sure guys were on the guest, like you had to be on the guest list, girls getting for free. And I just made a safe space, and then like that, I continue to do that, to just make a safe place for everybody to have fun and to be themselves, where they could drink, they could do what they got to do. But entrepreneurship, where like I'm managing that in 2017, I didn't think I could do this after I graduated college, because I started after college, because I didn't think I could do this because I was
HBCUs, Howard alum.
Yeah, Howard alum.
I mean, so, like, second best, but it's all right. Shout out to NCCU. Shout out to NCCU. Second best. I mean, Howard's still great. Close second.
Mm-hmm. Howard's first best, But it was, I threw parties at Howard too, but like after I graduated, I told myself I would stop, because like I felt, I can't do this in the real world. I gotta get a job. I gotta do this. And then I would say I went through like depression for like a year and a half, like, because I didn't like the 9 to 5. It sucked. And I was doing door-to-door business. So like I was selling like electricity and stuff. So I was doing door-to-door business after college. That was my thing. And then I decided to throw an event. And then I was like, got with a couple of friends, and we started a management group. And that's where like my journey began, where I am now. I felt like started 2017, but it began when I first tried to just make a safe place for everybody to have fun. So I think
that's crazy. But y'all both hit on 2 points that I want. I love a good flow in a conversation. But I think the first thing, because mind you, we all went to school. I think the first thing you acknowledge is that we do kind of hit that lull after college. I feel like we dream big as kids. We dream secretly, even if you're not sharing it like, with other people. Cause like, I ain't gonna lie, I had some dreams that I didn't tell nobody that I wanted, but I secretly wanted them like low key. We all got those like, I'm gonna be Beyonce. Like you don't tell anybody you'll be Beyonce in case you don't make it. Like, but you secretly want to be Beyonce, right? Like, so we
want to be Hov.
You know, okay, period, right? You want to be a star. I'm a star, baby.
For sure.
You know, and I think, especially with college, because we get sold this dream of if you do this and you do this and you do this, you're gonna have the life that you want. And I think we all hit that low. Well, after college, you're like, yo, this shit is not what I thought it was gonna be.
Definitely.
Right. And so I love how you speak to that. But I think even going back to how both of you kind of talk about how you stumbled into purpose. And I think that's a great, like purpose and entrepreneurship. Like it really is that. I think people feel like purpose is a thing that you create, but I feel like it's a thing that you discover. And I've been talking about this whole re-up series. I think people are in this space of after the pandemic of they feeling like they had to do something. Right. Joe, you mentioned like, the 9 to 5. When that pandemic hit, people like, listen, I can't do this another year. I can't go back to what I was doing before this. So everyone's in this space of trying to find purpose and they're pursuing entrepreneurship. I think I read that they've doubled the amount of small businesses, especially minority-owned small businesses, have like doubled this past year. And so I think even for both of y'all, how did you know? So again, what are those things? Because even I feel it at times of when you say like, it wasn't for you, it didn't feel like certain things didn't feel right for both of you. How did you know that entrepreneurship was for you and what you're doing was, how did you know it was right?
For me, it was two things that happened. After I moved to Houston for a job, I moved to Houston in 2017 for an HR position. So I moved to Houston with my wife, or my fiance at the time, before we got married. And I was there for a couple of months and I was starting my management business at the same time and it wasn't feeding me the thing I wanted. So I was more focused on my management business and I ended up quitting my job from Houston, moved everything, quit, stayed in Houston. And I think the second time was when a couple months after I quit, our management threw like a pop-up shop and it was called BAM, which stands for Black Artists Matter. And we had painters, we had photographers who had their stuff up. I had a playlist for all underground artists and vendors sell their stuff there and just wanted to show love to all the Black artists. That was like 2018. I wanted to show love to all the Black artists that I knew and were my friends. And that event paid my rent for 2 months in Houston. So like that made me know like this is what like I'm here. Like I'm here for a reason and this is what I need to do, whether it's events or this is something. Once they pay my rent, like I could do this. I can do this entrepreneurship.
I love it. I'm gonna come back to that too. Cause I think talking about money and I want to come back to that. I love that. Brihem, what about you?
So like my journey for entrepreneurship was a little different. Like when I left for college, my first semester in college, I went to school for computer information management. My first semester in college, the classes bored me to death. And then
sure.
I switched over. Like I always liked talking to people. So I was like, you know what? I want to run a business because I don't believe in working for a company for 50 years and then you get a watch and then that's what you pass down to your child. So for me, like originally I thought I was going to be a carpenter. I thought I was going to start my own carpentry business. So like I always kind of knew that I didn't want to work for nobody. But then back in December 28th, 2019, I had my son. And I was already an entrepreneur, but I was still working at 9 to 5. But it was really like imbalanced because I was working for AAA. I was working overnight. I was making great money there, but I always felt like I was missing something. And then the day I had my son, I kind of had to make a decision. I had to go on leave for work for 2 weeks. And at the time, my son's mom couldn't handle my child at night. So I kind of had to make the decision, and quit. I had to quit AAA. I quit AAA January 7th. So from January 7th on to now, I've been full-time entrepreneur. And it's kind of more of like my why was really what made me go full-fledged. And I don't think I'll ever go back to a 9 to 5 though. Like it's nothing like waking up and going like, yo, this is my dream. I'm living it. It's just more of like, a lot of people don't understand when you are the leader of a business, when you're at the top of the business, you don't clock out. I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's like a lot of the times people miss that part of it when you talk about, business structure. You carry a lot, you give up a lot to be that person. So that's my biggest part of, the journey of it now.
That's crazy.
It's so deep. You gotta lose yourself sometimes. You just gotta give up certain parts of yourself just to follow your dream. I definitely know that feeling, man. Damn.
And it's like, and it's not even necessarily parts of you. I love that because I think it's sometimes we evolve. We forget that, like, and you're not gonna see, you probably hear this again, but like I always say that at some point your present self is gonna become your past self, and your future self will become your present self. And so there are times, and to your point, there was a time where I dreamed of my 9 to 5, like my career. I am 20. I'm not even 20. I'm not even 30 yet. And I've hit the peaks of my career that I had initially set out for 30. But I think kind of talking about both of you, like half it's the money of when you realize all that you put into your craft and you realize how much you're getting compensated. You're like, like it's not making it happen. But then it's also like, you feel like something's missing. I love what I do. But for me, it was about not being able to do it in the fullness of who I am. Right. I love helping. I love coaching. I love teaching, but I was limited based off of how someone wanted me to teach and how they wanted me to coach. And so my new business is about getting to coach and teach in my way as my authentic self. So it's just crazy how I think y'all both hit on it. But when it comes to entrepreneurship and being a boss, you got to do it for not only the right reasons, but your reason. And your reason is going to be different. For some people, it is money. For some people, it is about pursuing, where they feel drawn to, where they feel full. For some people, it's about providing for their family and breaking generational curses. I just think it's different. And so it's just crazy how 3 people literally can look at the same thing or look at it differently. But I guess I want to kind of go back to something that you said, Brihem, about entrepreneurship not being for everybody. Because just because we're seeing the doubling as far as new businesses being established does not mean they're being ran well, and or that people really knew fully what they were getting into before they signed up for that. So even for you both, and mind you, I've done what both of y'all have done. I've quit jobs. I've moved. I live in Nebraska. You okay? I live in Nebraska. So I know what that's like to what do you feel like has been like your greatest challenge? And what's been your greatest accomplishment, like as far as your entrepreneurship journey? Because it definitely has its ebbs and its flows, right?
Yeah. So my biggest challenge, like as a digital media company, as a photographer, has been the oversaturation of the digital media people or the photographers. Like one thing I've dealt with since I started is the whole, a lot of photographers are creeps, or you the coolest photographer I ever met, because a lot of guys, I hate to say it like that, but a lot of dudes use this camera to get in front of girls they couldn't get in front of. So now it puts guys that's more focused on business at a disadvantage. That's why you see, I don't never really post my face on Visions. Nobody, like 90% of the people that follow me or, share my work don't even know that I'm Visions. And I did that for a reason, because I never wanted it to be something that happened in my personal life now affects my business, where my business is now what carrying it for my legacy. But I think that's like one of the biggest challenges I had. Not the skill, not the multi-talented people, not the getting published. It's more of that part. It's the part that you really can't control. Absolutely. And then accomplishment, like my biggest accomplishment is just starting it. To be honest, like the hardest part of the journey is to start it. So many people are afraid of, the what ifs. Like I just had a conversation with my own mom last night, and I told her I've never really put 100% into anything. And the sad part about that is, people look at me and go like, yo, you're so successful, this and the third. But to me, it's like, I always feel like I could do more, because I've always had that in the back of my mind. Like, what if we fail? Like, what if we are doing all this and it doesn't pay off? Even though I know that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that dream works, to, the fruitation of what I believe is going to happen, it's just still like that overthinking of like, damn, like I could have did this better. Or even with photos, I got over 7,000 photos I've never released. And if I was to show somebody my Google Drive, they'd probably curse me out. But it's because I'll be sitting there like, I could have fixed that eyebrow, or I should have told her about her lipstick, or it's all that type of stuff. So it's one of the hugest accomplishments. I would just say just starting. Definitely just starting.
I love that for sure. I love that. Yeah.
I want to say my greatest challenge in this entrepreneurship is like understanding and realizing that everyone can't come with you. And that was, in the beginning of this entrepreneurship, even before then, like I've always wanted my friends to come along. Like it was even like for my 21st birthday, like I had me and like 8 of my friends get tuxes and we're going to dress up and I had a party. Like we all going to come in the limo. We all going to have a good time, guys. Like I just wanted my friends to come along, and like I realized you can't force your friends into something that they don't love. And that's like the hardest part. Like you might love it and you want them to come along because you've seen other stars, like, oh, their friends come along and you think they, I want you to like try to handle the booking. They don't even like to do that shit. Like they didn't want to deal with people. Like, and that's like the hard part. Like that was really my greatest challenge. Is like I wanted my friends to come, and I've.
That's chapter 2 in this book, bro. Honest to God, that's chapter.
But
oh man, you gotta check it out.
And like that was my greatest like challenge, just like knowing that people couldn't come, and I had trial and error. Like I would like, oh, different friends, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try this, friend. Come on. And my wife had to tell me like, yo, what are you doing? Like you have to like understand that everybody can come with you. Like she had to like put it in their perspective for me, because I was like, I'll give him another try. I'm gonna give him another try, even if he was fucking up. No, I'll give him another try. And
it's like me.
Okay, definitely me. Like
I'll give him another try. Like it's cool. Yeah. Look, I know what he's doing is like he want to give excuses for them, and it's like that's still my challenge too. I can't even lie. That's still a challenge for me, because it's like I still have friends that I give like excuses for, just because like that's still a challenge for me.
That is speaking volumes right there.
For sure.
That is huge. Like just to drop a little quote from the book alone, bro. It's saying chapter 2 of that book. Because they believe that the positions and the things that you put them into, they only got it because they're your friends. And they'll never respect you the same. I go through the same thing. I've had a team 3 different times.
See, I think of it. So, okay, I guess y'all can blame it on this new spiritual journey, but I'm really trying to step into the space of grace. For so, and I think it's crazy because even like looking at both of you and being on the spectrum and me kind of being in the middle of it is crazy, because when I think about grace and just like, so I'm embarking on that of I've frustrated with like friends who don't understand the vision, and people who you expect to understand, who you think get you, and you think they're going to get what you're doing and they don't. You like, dang. And then it's when you build the teams, which whether they're your friends or not, and the people end up not being what you thought they were going to be, or not. It's hard. I think I'm in a space where it's not always necessarily that people don't want to. I think it's to your point of just, it ain't their vision. It's not their dream, or it's just the stop where they get off, and it has nothing to do with us. It's not personal. It's just, that's not when God gave them their thing. It didn't include this. And I've had to be okay with being a pit stop on people's journey. I've had to be okay with everybody can't go, B.
Everybody can't go. And it sucks sometimes. It really does. It sucks that like everybody can't go. And it's like, I've lost friendships. I've lost some close friendships over this like, and it's like, I wouldn't even say it was serious stuff, but it was just like things that could have been avoided, and like just simple like communication. It's like things that you thought that you had as friends, and you realize you guys like might never had communication, or you guys might never had like a real serious bond, or it was just, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Never tested. Friendship was never tested. That's
I might argue with that with both of y'all, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I would argue in that. I think, and I love this because I can't wait till our next series. We're talking about relationships. Because I think to that point, what happens is it's not people, it's our expectations of people. Because to that point, just because somebody's your friend doesn't mean they're a good business partner. Right? Just because a person is in the same industry and they're good at what they do doesn't mean that they're good for you and what you need. And so I think sometimes God will send us a person and we put them in the wrong category, right? They're supposed to be a business partner, but we made him a friend. They're supposed to be an associate or a colleague and we made him a business partner, or like they're supposed to be a friend and we made him a relational, like an intimate partner. Like, I think we do that sometimes where no one ever signed up for what we signed them up for. We have expectations about where we want them to go and we put them there and then we get mad at them for not being who they never said they were in the first place.
Yeah.
That's just
me. That goes back to what you said, like grace. Like, and it's funny, that is the theme of 2021 for me, because I just got my new car and I named her Grace. Her name So my first car, that's crazy. My first car's name was Grace. My current car's name is Nima, which is Swahili for Grace. That's so crazy. Yeah, my car is Grace. Like, that's like you said, you just have to, like, I've learned in this journey is just like, you have to give yourself grace and you have to give the people that you care about grace as well. Cause like, just like you're going through life, they're going through life too. And it's just, you just have to, I've learned that you just have to give grace and understand that you're not the only one that's going through life.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
And sometimes like even
the pandemic like helped that with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like,
and not taking rejection personally. I think the more that I'm stepping into, I think too, the entrepreneurship thing, and y'all can attest to this, and building a brand, it really calls authenticity out. Like, it's forced me to be way more vulnerable and more transparent and more authentic than I think I've ever been. Because I think the more you know who you are, the more you know who you're not.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And so just like I make decisions and things that I had to say no to, when I say no to people, I'm not saying no to them. I'm saying no to the opportunity because it's not for me, or it's not the season, or it's not what's best for me, but I'm not actually saying no to them. And so when I look at it from me, it allows me to give people more grace of when they tell me no, they aren't saying no to me. They're saying no because this opportunity isn't for them. And that's okay because they know who they are and who they not, you know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. That's a great way of putting it. I'm learning that right now because I think my problem is I don't be wanting to say no. Like, I'll be dead tired and I have friends call me 10 o'clock at night. Yo, bro, you trying to go get a drink? Knowing I had a long day, but yeah, come on, bro, I'll go. Or like, I ain't getting no sleep today, but then my brother called me, let's go hoop. Then I go hoop, and then later on that night, I'm like, damn, I'm really tired. Then my other homie called me, yo, bro, trying to take this ride with me? And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna go. But now it's like for the last 2 weeks, I've been more of, it's okay to say no. You don't, and you're not wrong for saying no. You don't have to do everything. You know, and if I learned this new thing, like, people mad that you being honest. Well, you know, that F word that, you know, I ain't gonna say online, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
but
yeah, there you go. You feel me?
Because my nieces and nephews, they know the Lord is working on me with my mouth, okay? So, you know what? And that was bad. He's working on me. I'm sorry. The F word. Thank you. You said it right. The F word.
Yeah, man. It's like, I've definitely had a long journey of, you know, trying to pull everybody. But you ever notice when you go on a plane, you're not carrying nobody else's baggage. You know what I mean? You're not walking with nobody else's baggage. So therefore,
ain't carrying nobody else's baggage but yourself.
Exactly.
So hold on. Okay, so y'all see, I'm loving this because I get to hear other perspectives, but I'm going to challenge it. And this is also because I do this for a living. So forgive me for doing this because I want to talk about two things. I think for that point, so I heard a pastor say it and it's like, whoa, it's crazy. Because I think that's two things that I'm noticing. I think in culture, I want to go back to something y'all both said about this whole idea of hustle and team no sleep. I feel like we've watched so many shows and people give the impression online that they're full grind mode all the time. But I work with college students a lot. And so I've always shared my journey with them about how I was hospitalized like twice in college for dehydration and for lack of sleep because I was trying to do too much. I was like, you know how they have that little triangle that says like you either get good grades, you have a social life, or you get sleep in college. You can't have all three. I was the girl who had the social life, I had the academics, and I worked like 5 jobs. So that meant no sleep. And I learned easily that you can't pour from an empty cup. And so I think going back to what y'all said about saying no, realizing that no isn't about saying no to the other person. It's just about saying yes to you. My no is my way of keeping my cup full because I can't pour if I'm empty.
The universe is talking today, Lance. I'm having too many messages today, talks where it's just like, I need to pay attention.
No, man, that's how I feel today too, man.
Oh, gosh.
But it be like that because I think, again, like, I think it's natural. Even for me, I'm working in like trying to be more of a producer than a consumer. But when you are a constant consumer, all we do all day is consume messages that we aren't doing enough, that we should be doing more, and that being still is bad. And it's like, sometimes you need, like I needed to go away to be inspired, to have energy to come back and do what I do even better. Like we need those, like rest. Yes.
Rest is important. Like as we get older, rest is important. If you want to work like a full day and do what you got to do, you need at least some rest, like, or a day to yourself. Like that 24 hours, no, that's not what it is. They are sleeping. They got a team. They got a team.
Okay, they lying to you. Okay.
They got a team. They got a team to handle the social. They got a team to handle the bookings. And I'm getting a massage as I'm telling him to handle that shit right there.
That's the truth, though. That's definitely the truth. Like, they make it seem like you got to work 24 hours. And it's like, just I said, the last 2 weeks, I've learned that my body has needed sleep. I've been working every day for 2 years straight. And it's like, I moved and came back. I'm back down South Philly. And I've actually got to get sleep. Now I'm reading again. I'm producing even better work. I have more mental space because I was never getting sleep. Because they frown upon you as if, you never sleep. If you're working literally 24 hours a day, you're going to shut down. You're not going to do anyone any justice by working all day, every day.
And sometimes, the rest ain't even sleep. So like people like Tania, why you get up so early? I'm up at like 5 a.m. But that's because between 5 and 9, that's me time. That's the time of the day that before I pour into anybody else, I do what I have to do to pour into me. That's when you see me working out. That's when I'm reading my Bible. That's when I'm dancing around my house. I'm taking my time showering. I'm getting like I use those. I wake up early just to have that time to me because once 9 hits, from 9 to whenever, I am pouring into other people. But I gotta have that time, that rest where it's still. Like just peaceful, where nothing sometimes, not even just sleep. Okay, I gotta have that for real. So I guess
I feel that.
My question now, then, I guess with that being said, is how do you define hustle? I see hustle hard, hustle smart, hustle. What does hustle mean now?
So you want to go first, Joe, or you want me to?
Yeah, I was about to because hustle, like people get hooked on how you said working 24/7. Hustle is to me is just being consistent, and that's it. Like sometimes being consistent is just like for myself. I throw events and I promote stuff and do music or put out playlists. I put out playlists every month. That's just me being consistent. That is just my hustle right there. It's the consistency. That's what you can hustle and win big one time, and that's it. You can win big one and that's it. But the consistency is where people's like, oh, I see you actually working every day or trying to get better every day. So like the consistency is the hustle, not what you do for the person. Because like I can hit a lick for 50,000 and guess what? Tomorrow I'll get a lick to 0. That's not being consistent at all.
For sure, for sure. I think a hustle, it's like one of those, I think I seen Jay-Z say it in a clip, but just like, I do what I can with what I've been gifted with. So I try my best to use my talents, my abilities, my skills to make life better for people around me. However I can do that. Everything else ain't my concern because he got it. Like I talk about a lot on the podcast about being a faith-filled boss, right? For me, boss is I do what I can, but what I got, everything else, I trust him to take care of it. And that's, I think the more I tell myself that, the less pressure. I think sometimes too, we say we believe in God and higher powers, but a lot of times when you're overworking, it's because you don't trust that somebody else can do it, that somebody else is going to take care of it. So I'm trying to be a person of my word. When I say I have faith, I'm trying to give him space to where he can do the things that I'm believing him to do. You know, it's crazy. Like, if that makes sense. Like, so I'm doing less so he can do more. I don't know. Yeah.
No, definitely.
That's
like, the backtrack on one of your statements, like that having that me time is also a part of hustle. Like, I listen to Eric Thomas just about every morning. And like one quote that he said that like, it stuck in my brain was like, you can't drive a car off a AAA battery. So like, take that as the same way as when you getting the phone calls from your girlfriends or your friends and they going, it's just a bunch of negativity, that's doing is draining you. So now you might have started your day at 100%, but you didn't let your friend or your folks or your family member take 80% of that with their drama. And now you only got 20% to produce what you're trying to do. So you're taking away from yourself by taking in information and negativity that you don't want. Like, and that was one thing I had to really learn how to utilize to even continue my own hustle, because, everybody think hustle. I'm from the hood. So, hustle for me used to be, I seen guys on the corner, but I never sold drugs. But I'm like, I see them constantly working. But really, hustle is being smart enough to understand that you work smarter, not harder. I understand that you aren't always supposed to be the smartest person at the table. That's what real hustlers are, where I can sit in a room with you and you not know exactly who I am. I might know way more information than you, but I'm a student to you. Because now I'm taking what you're teaching so that I can implement it later to be a better teacher. That's what hustle is to me, learning like how to learn from each person that you meet. That's why I call you superstar. Although you told me I inspired you, I'm like, no, what you're doing, I had a thought of doing a podcast before, and I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And I'm watching you do it. Like that's what
on Saturday, and I put it on pause.
That's crazy, because I'm like, y'all inspiring me. I love J. Cole. He like, you inspiring me. I'm inspiring you. That's how it's supposed to be, though. I love it because I think I want to go back now to relationships, because both of y'all have touched on it now a couple of times about the importance of the people you have around you. I tell my students all the time, there's no such thing as a neutral transaction when it comes to people. They are either depositing or they are withdrawing from you.
Definitely.
And to your point, it can be even the little smallest things like energy. Like sometimes like people like, Tania, you answer your phone, because I knew that conversation was not going to be productive. Because you were not going to add any value to what I'm already going on today. You weren't going to add any value. That's why I didn't answer, my love.
Get that, yo.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Need.
People who want to just know stuff to know it, and then you tell them and they hit you with that, damn, that's crazy.
Yep.
Hey, I told y'all I can't.
Sorry you had to go through that.
That's crazy.
Sorry you had to go through that.
Okay, Joe's wife conditioned him very well. Okay, how do you respond, Joe?
Oh. Put me on the spot. I can't even.
I'm about to say.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I'm
sorry you had to go through that. I'm so sorry.
That's what I want to hear. Affirm me. Support me. Right.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm here for you. You ain't got to do this alone no more.
Period. For sure. So I guess for both of y'all, I think about relationships like you hear all the time, like, relationships take you places that money, that knowledge and expertise can't go. And I think that's true both professionally. So as it relates to your being an entrepreneur, building a business, building a brand, but I think that even goes as far as your personal life too. And so y'all talk to me about, I think for both of you, I've seen both of you, you're behind the scenes. You've actually encouraged me to show more of the behind the scenes behind this process. because watching the behind the scenes of your processes, I've noticed that the team is so important. Like, like I from watching y'all bloopers, watching the vibes, working with y'all, I've seen like the difference that having good team energy and synergy makes. So when it comes to building a team, whether it be through trial and error, what have you learned is so important for people when it comes to who are pursuing new opportunities and new ventures, whether it's personal, professional? What's important when it comes to building your team and building a network?
A balance. So one thing I would say from my experience is never make your team too personal. Where it's like, it's okay to, you know, talk to your team, you know, pour into your team, but certain things aren't for everybody. So it's like, if I'm working with, if this is my business team, it might not be best that we all hanging together, getting high and drinking and talking about our personal problems, because then the respect level is leveled, where it's like, you know, I'm really here, but since now we chilling and partying and drinking, now you looking at me here. So now when I'm asking you to do something as small as, listen, I need you to send out this invoice, you taking your time at it because you like, oh, well, that's him, all right. But when you first started, it was Brihem J. So it's like, you gotta have a balance of like, I fool with y'all.
You done short my whole name. You done gave me a 1-syllable nickname. Now you think we cool.
You feel me? Like, so it's like, they like, I noticed that for myself, because at one point, like my own team had told me, like the females, they told me, yo, you treat us like guys, because I was so against y'all really knowing me. Like I wasn't, you know, I'm going through something. No, I was only talking to y'all when I needed stuff to get done. But when I let that guard down, I started having issues, because now you in the drama as if you one of the employees. Like now they talking about you, and then it's getting back to you because now everybody think we're on the same level. And that's what I would say, like, I damaged my own team by doing that, but I needed that to happen too. So I truthfully say, like, always finding balance when it comes to relationships. And that's for both personal and even outside of personal. I mean, personal and the business. Like, even, you know, I don't have a wife, you know, shout out to Joe.
Okay, he stands for honey, and I love to see you. Tell him we say hey.
I love you, Siobhan. I love you. I love you. You see this.
For sure. You gotta have a balance. Gotta have a balance, man. Like, you can't be all work and no personal either, though, because a lot of the times as entrepreneurs, we completely forget about our partners because we so focused on, yo, we gotta get it right. I have to get it right so that they don't have to ever even deal with this part. But
we're so busy providing, we forget to be present.
Exactly. Like, you're so busy. All right, I need to get this money. I get this money up, but you're not noticing that your partner at home, you know, stressed out because they barely seeing you. But you, in your mind, you're doing everything right. But truthfully, you forget in the present because you're not understanding the balance. Where it's like, yo, if you're going to work from 11 a.m. to 7, 11 a.m. to 7 is your work schedule. From 7 on, that's your present time. Be there for your family, be there for your kid, be there for, you know what I mean? That was one thing I struggled with. And I still struggle with it, you know, because entrepreneurship is I'm only 2 years in. Now I got a son. So it's like, now I'm learning, yo, I'm clocking out at some point because I got to go be a dad. I need my boy to understand that, like, daddy go to work, but then when he come home, he there for him. Now sometimes I'll even cut my phone off. You know, if I got my son, I don't even want nobody calling me because that's his time. So definitely a balance.
I love that.
Yeah. You gotta have balance. Like, because I'm not gonna lie, there's times where I'm married and sometimes business takes over. Imagine she's in business as well. So she does product photography. So, and we were both co-founders of our management group. So we did the management together. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm doing management, you're at home while I'm doing this. Like, no, we're having business meetings. It's like, no, we're having business meetings. I quit my job. A month later, she quit her job. And then we was just both unemployed, not getting no benefits at the time.
I was like, y'all ain't think that one through, huh?
Yeah, we did. We did. And that was the event that we did and it paid our rent for 2 months.
Oh, okay, okay. I was about to say, y'all can't be out there quitting your job like that now. Okay, all right.
We just like moved our life to Houston, but to backtrack to like what it is for a team, like the qualities of a team. I stopped like talking team because like it gives, I feel like limitations in my opinion when I say the word team. Like I feel like now I'm building a village of people because a village is forever growing. Like a team, like for a basketball team, or let's say for a basketball team, it's like 15 players. That's it. You can't get no more. And it's like a village is always going to constantly grow. There's going to be people that I meet every day. Like I'm meeting you guys. And like you guys are now, like you said, I was part of your village before you even met us. Now, like you're in the village and like now it's there. But the quality I look for is just communication. That's number one, because you got to communicate to people if you can't able to do something, if you're not going to be here on time, or you just need a day off, just communicate that to us. Like that's simple. Flexibility, because if you just need flexibility and initiative. I like people who take initiative where certain things where I don't feel like I have to tell you or micromanage to say, hey, I need you to, like you said, send this invoice. And he hasn't sent it. I'm like, I know he hasn't sent it. I don't want to keep telling you that I got to send the invoice. Like, just take initiative. Like, oh, it's already done. You didn't have to say nothing.
I love that. It's crazy because both of y'all, I work with college students and I teach, so I'm always thinking of cute ways to say things. But it's crazy how like you can work in a different industry, but it's the same. It's the core is the same. So I think going back to you, Brihem, about balance, we call it a teamily. We say teamily because family is sacred and personal, and we don't go that far. But we are more than a team, and that we recognize that there's some level of connection we have to do great work, right? Mm-hmm. And so I love that atmosphere. But I think also too, back to what you said, Joe, for me, character is so important. I think when it comes to skill, anybody can learn a skill. I can teach anybody how to do anything. I can show you how to work equipment. I can show you how I like stuff. I can show you how to do anything. What I can't teach you is how to show up as a person. The initiative comes from, like, you don't gotta tell me to pick. My mom used to, my mom used to get so mad, and because I have siblings, and she would get so mad if she walked past a piece of paper and nobody picked it up. She would literally she would call all of our names and go, so nobody saw this? Mm-hmm. It's like the fact, like, you don't, those things you just can't teach people. Like, you have to just have it in you. I think that's so, so important. I would also say something that I try to do is, I think it's also common when we're building teams, we get people who are just like us.
Mm-hmm. It's what we attract.
Oh, but for me, with my team, I need people who ain't like me. You gotta, I think of it almost like with sports. What you need in a point guard is different than what you need in a shooting guard. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And what you need from a center. It's like each of them require different heights, different abilities, different things. And I feel like when it comes to a team, there's different positions and each position calls for a different thing. And I recognize that I don't always have it all. I don't always have the expertise. I don't always have the skill, always have the resource. So when I build my team, I base it off of what do I not have? What do I need? What do I not have? What do I need?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And sign people up for the position that you want them to be. So like, if you contacted me to be your photographer, don't have me doing your invoices, because I wasn't here to do invoices. I'm here to take pictures. And that's like, I feel like that's one expectation, because I can tell we all are alphas. So we go, all right, well, I know I got Joe. Joe got a network, but I asked Joe just to do brand coloring or brand guidelines. So it's not his job to promote. And that's where our expectations don't meet, because I feel like, I got Joe in New York. Why are we not gaining promotion from New York? Because I never asked Joe to be a promotion. I asked Joe to do the brand guidelines. Anything he does outside of that is just extra. But we expect it, because in our minds, you got me, well, I'm a promote. But Joe might not think like that. You know what I mean? Like that, I think that'd be our imbalance with that as leaders, because we forget we used to be employees. I used to be a sales supervisor, but guess what? I wasn't doing conference calls because that wasn't part of my position. That wasn't in the qualifications.
I will also put it back on people. Right. That's why it's also important to know who you are. Again, it goes back to my point about grace of it's important to know who you are and know who you're not. Because when somebody try to put you in that box, you go, that ain't what I do. I'm in a season where I know what I do and I know what I don't do. So you could ask me to do something, and just because I can don't mean that I'm going to. You know, so y'all don't even know this, but the episode that we're shooting that we shot that was before this recording talks about that, because people tend to confuse the itties with purpose and with their business. They think about their capacity, like what they had the potential, you know what I'm saying, what they had the potential to do. You know, it's like you can't get caught. You know, it's like
a strong word. It's like, I see the potential in you, man. I see the potential in you, girl. It's like, okay, but do you see it for yourself? You know, do you see it? Can you see it for yourself? And I don't want to spend time trying to make you see your potential, and I'm wasting my energy to make sure you do what I think you can do, and I can't even do what I need to do on time because
look at the
about you.
Look at the sixes. We're gonna talk about potential. Look at Ben Simmons. You keep talking this potential shit.
Didn't I tell y'all we talk about people?
He was a LeBron. He was supposed to be a LeBron point guard.
Can I just go on the record and say the Cool Auntie does not endorse any of these name drops, Ben?
Sons and fools.
Yeah.
Number 25 from Philadelphia basketball team.
I cannot.
This potential shit. I'm tired of it.
But you know what? I read an article that it said, like, literally, like, I think it's like 21% of people actually reach and achieve the maximum level of their potential. And so, like, to your point, we make a lot of decisions based off of potential, what we have the opportunity to do or what we can do. I think it's so important, again, to recognize that just because you can don't mean that you should. You know, or that you will, right? Exactly. And so I think even like now we see a lot about, you know, what success means. Like everybody's goals these days, everybody's relationship goals, everybody's boss goals, business goals. I'm leery about that because I've learned that success is going to look different. It's going to look different for and on everybody.
Each person.
You know, and so I think even for y'all and talking about all of this when it comes to, like, you know, mind you, we talked about both, but like this idea of that balance between your personal and professional life. What do you consider to be, or how do you define success?
Success for me, I define it through who I'm able to help, and whether it's a family or a friend or myself. Importantly, if I'm able to help myself, that's success. If I'm able to, it's like my washing machine broke today, and I had success is I'm able to walk to a Sears or wherever and go get a new one. That financial freedom to have that I'm able to do, it's really, that's success. The people I can help around and make sure they're good as well. Especially my family and the legacy I leave too. That's another thing. Yeah. Success is also your legacy.
I'm going to come back to that for a reason. I'm going to come back to that. Go ahead, Brihem. That was good.
Yeah, I would say like success for me is defined not only for financial freedom for myself, but for the people around me. Like when I first created Visions, it was always, you know, it's based on, it's kind of an acronym, to be honest. It's the way you view yourself, the way others view you, and the way you view yourself based on how other people view you. So the goal.
Y'all hear that self-concept he's talking about? They also learned that in this series. So thank y'all for all of the alignment. I did not coach them, I promise.
Great.
Sure. Definitely. But it's I feel like if you become a multimillionaire, but you don't help anyone else become a multimillionaire, you fail. So like my success isn't just for me and mine, but I want to bring people with me, because what's the purpose of, you know, you being the only one to make it? You still failed because you didn't. You still failed because you didn't. And just because you run a business and I run a business does not mean we can't run together to make sure we all get there. Because one of you may hold the key to me being right one time to make it. You know what I mean? Like I had that same conversation a few nights ago. So it's like, I want to be able to be that person that brings it all together for everybody. you know, if we all can end up becoming millionaires strictly off of a conversation, why not have that conversation? Because you might have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love that. And I know I was on there before we started about time, but I find where this convo is so good, I still want to get two things off. I got to y'all cool. Y'all rocking with me still?
We rocking with you.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I want to acknowledge is that I love how, first and foremost, I support how you all define success. That's really important for me. For me, it's like, I look at it like I love sports. I don't like to play sports, which I learned early on in high school. Like, this ain't for me. When I had a teammate cuss me out because I wasn't crying after a loss, I knew it was time to get out. But like, I love sports and I use it for analogies. I think we think about like success is a team sport. And I love how both of y'all talked about how when it came to success, your success is connected to other people, whether it be the generations after you. So like Brihem, you talking about your son, or like for your family, Joe, like for legacies, or even the team and people who are attached to us, our partners, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to I think to that point, and I think I even want to go back to a comment y'all made about the backpacks and the luggage. Because I think to that point in relationships, and I use this analogy all the time about how just like the airport with luggage, everybody has stuff with them. I love saying like, and I hear it a lot on this podcast, everybody got some shit with them, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody got bags that they come with. You determine which bags you're willing to help and to take on. Because anytime you're in a relationship with anybody, you're taking on their stuff because their imperfections affect you. Their flaws affect you. When you connect to anybody, whether it be romantically, professionally, whatever, their imperfections and their decisions affect you. And so I think when I think about so that's also one reason why I'm single. As I'm building this new thing, I'm more protective of me. The more I've gotten to know me and building my business and step into who I am, I'm more protective of who I attach myself to. And so when it comes from you all, I love to hear the male perspective, because dating today, I can't wait to, if y'all are cool with it, I love to have y'all back for the relationship series.
Okay.
That's a whole topic in itself, but I think I would love to kind of hit just when it comes to y'all building your business and your legacies. Talk to me about partnership and how family falls into that. I find it, when, at least for me in my 20s dating, I meet men who feel like they have to have it all before they can start pursuing relationships. And there are times where even I feel like that for myself, if I want to be here before I start doing that. How did y'all go about, I know we don't always plan these things, but I know, Joe, you having a wife and you talk a lot about how your journeys intersected. Brihem, you having a son and it changing your life. Talk to me about like that. How do you manage the balance between the two, and how you connect the two?
Well, I'll let you go first, Joe, because you know that's a blessing.
Okay, right. He been doing this thing. Okay. Shiva been doing this thing.
It's hard to find the balance. It's trial and error to find a balance in your business and also in your marriage and in your relationship. And it's when you pour into yourself and also pour into your partner as well. Checking in on them as well and making the time. That's what it is making time. You make time for your business, make time for your relationship, make time for your marriage. And it's something I'm working on, still trying to make time, still balancing the two. It's not something that's going to happen as soon as you start a business. It's something that you got to continue to work on. Learn today, love is a job. You got to work on it every day. And the same way as your business, but don't treat it as your business. Treat it as something you love, and it is something you love, and continue to work on it. And like I said, it's something you got to work on every day. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something you continue to work on every day.
Absolutely. I even just say, I think it's a balance. I want to challenge that a little bit, because I think sometimes people feel like you can work from anything. I think that there's some bare minimum things that should be aligned, and then you talk about that work. Because I think even for relationships, and I could be wrong, they're a partnership too. Because when you marriage, the reason why divorce is frowned upon, because first of all, divorce is a whole process, okay, in itself. And it's harder to get divorced than it is to get married. But I see why, because like you're literally joining lives. And I think when you think about partners, you want somebody who you want to do life with. And so like it's important that your values are similar, right? So how you define success is how they define success, how you define success, how you and Siobhan to be on the same page about what those things meant and how you define them before you start doing the work.
It's important to be on the same page because it makes the communication much easier. Things where there's not a bump in the road, and that requires each partner to be honest and with the communication, not trying to hide details or not leave anything out because that will eventually later down the line cause something demise. That buildup of hiding that one particular thing can cause something to dismantle. Not saying like it will all go down, burn down, but it can cause an effect. It can make a bump in the road. So being honest is very important in the relationship. It helps the communication, is the honesty between the two.
I'm hearing like honesty and communication. Good. It was a after God fearing us. That's the second and third thing on my required list. So thank you for that cosign. I love that. And so I guess taking a step further, because also I think sometimes having a family and having kids, not sometimes, all the time, it changes, right? And I think to that point, Brihem, I love hearing your story because a lot of times you hear people who, when they have kids, they get up on their dreams. And I believe that God I think purpose does involve being parents, but I feel like people still have purpose outside of being parents. And so I love seeing people who are committed to still pursuing purpose in their craft, but also still pursuing being parents. And so talk to me about how you juggle parenthood with the fresh baby. You got a fresh baby. Okay.
So yeah, definitely a boy dad. Honestly, I think the reason why like the balance happened for me was having my son forced me to follow my dream. A lot of people say I had my kid and it stopped me from following it. Having mine forced me to. Like, I've always been self-motivated. No one had to get me up to go work out, go to practice, go to school. No one did. But it's different when you're telling yourself every day, I'm doing it for my legacy. And then to be able to get up in the morning and see your legacy in front of you. Like, my son looks exactly like me. My son acts like me. He can't talk yet, but he talks like me too. My son's so talkative for him not to have, be able to say any words. So it's like, for me, it's more of a thing of, if I don't do it, he can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, how, a lot of people frown upon men. Like, I feel like it's a lot of men that are dads, but it's not a lot of men that are fathers. And for me, I never wanted to be looked at as a dad. I always wanted to be a father because I had a dad. You know what I mean? Yeah, my dad's still alive, but
look at
it's
Joe.
a difference. Yeah, it's a big difference for me. So when I think of that, it's what I'm doing today is going to influence his tomorrow. I already know right now that my son is going to be a cool dork. He's going to be a little cool nerd because he's going to be into all the things that other little kids aren't into. He's going to grow up in entrepreneurship already because I'm an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? So even as far as my son just had to get glasses a couple of days ago, and it's I cried when he had to get glasses, but then I finally realized, I'm like, it's cool. I'm gonna wear glasses too because I don't want him to ever feel weird or he don't fit in because I want him to normalize it. Okay, my dad wears glasses.
Tell him I'm legally blind. I got glasses, contacts, backup glasses.
For sure. It's like one of those things where that's more important to me than anything else. So every day, no matter if I'm tired, no matter if I'm stressed out, I gotta keep going because I don't have nobody handing me money. You know what I mean? And I'm not doing this strictly for money. I'm doing it to create a culture, to create a legacy. So for me, it's knowing that the dream wasn't for me. I don't even say I have dreams. I say I have visions because a lot of things, anything I see comes to fruition. So when I look at him every day, that's the part that keeps that relationship. Even if me and his mom not on the same accord, no matter what she doing, I'm going to make sure he good. And then she's going to always be good because she's the mother of my child. she's not the baby mom. She's the mother of my child. So
love that.
If I was the multi-billionaire tomorrow, well, now she's a multi-millionaire on top of him already being a multi-millionaire. Like, that's how I look at it. So it's more of like, I feel like people gotta take the personal out of it and realize that you're not, it's not a dog. Like, it's a human.
Hey, hold up. Don't be coming for the dog parents now, because I love my dog like he's my son.
Yeah, but that part of it is like, I frown upon men that like give up on their kids. Like, not to say like, they didn't ask to be here. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't ask y'all to, if some people say mistakes. I never say I am a mistake, but I will say it happened quicker than I thought. You know what I mean? I didn't plan for it, but I planned for it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like they say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The moment I found out, I had to make a decision, do I do what most would do, or do I step up and go, all right, well, let's get to it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just where I'm at with it. I stand on that.
I love it, but I feel like it's been so consistent. So thank y'all both for that. I think it's so consistent. This whole talk is just like, I don't know if it's balance necessarily or harmony, right? The thing that everything is nuanced, which is why I love this podcast, because there's no black or white. I think sometimes social media and culture will have you thinking it's black and white, but it's circumstantial and it's different. I think we've talked about so many things tonight, like relationships, success, entrepreneurship, hustle, all these things. I think they're all great, but one thing for me, my ultimate goal in this season and just the rest of my life is joy. Not happiness, but joy, right? And people confuse the two. I think when I think about, yes, money is great, and I want money and success and purpose and all those different things, but I want joy, right? That just like that undescribable peace, and just to be full, And so I appreciate, and it's moments like these where it's just confirmation. I've heard so much. We've all said it on the screen, like it just something about confirmation that lets you know when you're rolling, you're on the right track. And so I thank y'all both for the confirmation of not only confirmation in my discernment when it comes to people who I connect with and who I admire, because my opinion of y'all is now even twice as big as it was before I even got to meet you personally. But it's just all the confirmation that we're on the right track. All of us are on the right track. And anybody who's listening to this podcast, those things are not by coincidence. So you are also on the right track. And so I know we could talk about this forever, but first of all, it's late as hell. We tired, but also it's going to be a part 2 of this, because we definitely going. We always want you in Auntie's house. You always love me in Auntie's house. So y'all will definitely be back for sure. But on your way out. So on behalf of the Cool Auntie, the brand, our listeners, me personally, like when I say I love you, I mean it. Because for me, love just means I want you to win, and for both of you, you have my love for sure. Like everybody has my love, but my people have a different level of love, because I am really, really rooting for y'all. So thank y'all so much for being a part of this journey with me.
Thank you for having me.
Y'all know it's always gang. Okay, I'm always a part of the team. But on your way out, we always like to give people one pearl, one just if they remember nothing else about you, which they should, because otherwise they'd be raggedy. I'm gonna get on them. But if they remember nothing else about you, what's the one thing that if you can give them one token, one piece of wisdom, what would that be?
For me, I would say create good habits. Create good habits, because that's going to continue, and people are going to see those habits. And like, for this instance, you never know who's watching you or who's going to see those good habits that you're having. Just start creating good habits, because that's going to pay off in the long run. Absolutely, for sure.
And I would say a blessing too soon isn't a blessing at all. So understand that it's a time for everything. You know what I mean? And a lot of the times we frown upon ourselves and we're like, yo, I should have been here, or I should have been at this level. Everything is timing, you know what I mean? And really understand that, like, it's okay, because just like you said in the beginning, your present self is going to be looking at your present self from the future self's eyes later on. So understand everything has a time, and hold on to that.
I love that. And with that being said, not only do I love that, I love y'all. To all my listeners, y'all already know how it goes. I love y'all, and y'all make sure y'all call me back. Peace.
Peace.
Deuces. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.